Hi y'all, I'm Allison. Let's try and make some sense of the mess that I've made. In case you're not caught up, in my infinite wisdom, I decided to add a little bit of flavor, as G over at Book Roast would call it, to the Magical Readathon by adding scheduled class times, exams, and grades with consequences to the spring semester over at Orilium Academy. Yeah, we've all agreed, come to a consensus. I have lost my mind. But the ship has sailed. We got to run with it now. And if you have missed it and you want to see how all of that was randomly chosen, because I had no say in anything, then I will link the video up here. And there will also be a little card at the end with the playlist showing everything up to this point, because it's been a wild ride. But I realize I need some structure to this. Otherwise, it's going to be more of a train wreck than it already is. So instead of reading, I've been playing with graphics. So yeah, I'm stuck in a loop, but that's okay. So there were some details that I left out and when we set everything up. And there's some T's that need to be crossed, some I's dotted, all of that pesky little details that I was running into when I finally sat down and faced what I have done. Because I did make a calendar for my exam schedule. I was afraid to face the reality of that, and I have seen it. I will show you. But first, let's start with something a little fun. I made bookmarks. Here they are, and I will put them on the screen so you can see them in a little bit more detail. They have the name of the class, when that structured time is, the time block, and then space for me to record my progress, because this is going to be a scheduling nightmare. And on the back, I have the book along with a little reminder of when my exam date is. So those are my little bookmarks. I didn't waste a ton of time making these. Not at all. But I'm happy with them. It's on very heavy cardstock. So those will come in handy. And I'm going to need them. So another thing I did was, I'm going to lean over. I'm going to scoot over so we've got room for all of this on the screen and kind of hide my yarn mess. That's what that is back there, by the way. It's got a blanket over it so the cats won't play with the yarn, because that's actually very dangerous for them. Okay, so first we're going to take a look at the schedule. I cleaned it up and made it a little clearer with added some lines, stuff like that. I will put a copy of it up on the screen for you. There are a couple of things that weren't quite clear and that I had wrong in my last video. So first off, the afternoon block is anywhere from noon to 6 p.m. I don't know why I said 2 o'clock. It's noon to 6. Now, if there are multiple classes in a section of the day, like on a Wednesday, I have to do my restoration class before shape-shifting. Because let's face it, in a schedule, you can't decide, oh, well, today I'll go to this class before I do that one. Nope, they go in order, and I must follow that order. Now, when we get to weekends, I have 2 hours per day, as y'all know, and I can use that to make up any missed classes from that week. Now, this first weekend, which it's Sunday right now, Easter Sunday, I can only work on classes from Thursday and Friday, because that's when Nisila started her classes. That's when she actually had her schedule and school began for her, and I am following her schedule. So this weekend, I can only choose books from Thursday or Friday's schedule to do my makeup work. Study halls. Study hall, the way my schedule turned out, I didn't realize it, but that works to where you can only use it to make up a missed class or to prepare for a class later in the day. On Monday, the preparing for later in the day is okay, but it only gives me 2 options. Friday, I can prepare for 3 that I missed, but there's nothing later in the day for me to use it for. So that's going to add an extra layer to it. Now, let's move on to my exam schedule. I was terrified to face it, but here it is. Again, I will put it on the screen for you. I made a pretty calendar because I'm not stalling at all to avoid the mess that I've created. Nope. All right, here's where I have to take my test. And this actually opened up a whole area that I didn't even realize. First off, I'm going to give you a reminder. Here's my grading system, but it creates a scheduling issue that needed to be dealt with. Because on the 18th, I will be finished with my astronomy class one way or another. You know, you have your exam, the teacher's done. So I came up with this after an exam, and it'll come down to what grade I get. So if I get an A, then I can take those remaining classes on the schedule and bam, turn those into a study hall. So this is the way I can earn extra study hall as we get closer to all the exam dates. That's going to really become crucial, I have a feeling. Now, if my final grade is a B, then I can use the remaining classes on the schedule to kind of finish that book in my own time. And once it's completed, I gain 1 study hall. And then if I make a C, I can use my next scheduled class. I only have 1 class left to finish that book. So I may only have an hour left, up to 2 hours, depending on what class it is and time blocking, all of that stuff. But I don't get to add any study halls to the calendar. Those classes just get erased from the calendar. If I get a D or an F, I have to shelf the book. I didn't learn enough to be able to continue on my own because, you know, I could be learning the wrong information. The book has to be shelved. I can't pick it up until May. And obviously no study halls will be on the board for that. And then here is a visual aid of my final grade incentives. So just a reminder of what happens. A, I get to remove a book from my TBR, and I also get to double up one of my regulars with an extra prompt. B, I get to double up using one of my regulars with an extra. C, nothing happens. D, we have that spinning the wheel of shame, and this is where I push one of those worst grades forward. F, I have to push them all. So that is a recap of all of the rules, and now that I've got my head around it, I do have to say, I think it might actually turn out better than I feared. I don't know. I might be living in a optimistic bubble. I did mess up. I did start reading last night. In fact, I have a little bit of footage of that. I decided I wanted to come in and explain this a little bit more and kind of leave the narrative out of it, and we will jump back into, you know, crossing my path with Nasila's. But this is, I had to clarify it. I thought it might come in handy for Lucinda as well, because Lucinda, I don't know whether to cheer that you're going to join me in this mess or, you know, apologize for potentially dragging you into it. But yes, it does seem like we might be twins if you're into, you know, taking, the more challenging something is, the better, the more excited I get by it. And I love that you're going to join me in this craziness. So you will definitely have to keep me updated on how it goes. And maybe some of these extra clarifications will help you out. Or if anybody else wants to, you know, try to do this. I will definitely be doing this again in September or in August. But I will plan it out. We will have all the planning phase and all the little TBR setups done in July. So then when August starts, I'll be able to hit the ground running. So this, we'll call this our test run and see how it goes. And I do have to say, hats off to you, Nick. So I'm glad that you were able to resist the call of the sirens and are not going to jump into the fray with us. But, you know, maybe we'll be able to entice you in autumn. So, okay, like I said, I messed up because when I started this, I was just like, oh, it's the weekend. I get to makeup. I can pick any book. And I just picked the first one for my first exam, which is astronomy. So I started reading my astronomy book last night. And then I realized today that I was only supposed to choose from Thursday or Friday because that's when Nisila actually started school. And looking back at our schedule, I only have 1 hour of class time that I missed for astronomy. But I mistakenly read for 2 full hours. So what I'm going to do is shoot myself in the foot and skip Tuesday's astronomy class, so I don't have that added extra advantage. So, yeah. As challenging as possible, right? But I want to keep it true to what I was supposed to be doing. I just saw the test dates and ran with it, which you will see here in just a moment. I have not done today's reading yet, so thankfully I haven't used up my 2 hours of time yet for the day. So I will be choosing from one of the classes from Thursday or Friday that I obviously missed because I didn't get started on this till Saturday. Friday, there was no time to read. I was busy editing and whatnot. And by the time I was done, like, no. So it just didn't happen. So I officially started this on Saturday. Moving forward, I am going to document this nightmare for y'all so we can see how it goes. I'm cautiously optimistic. Believe it or not, I may just be out of my head, which is quite possible. But I will have a calendar and we will be showing it on the calendar so you can see exactly where I am and see those exam dates looming ever faster and faster. Oh, and Samlovesbooks, I love that you have been watching these during your lunch break at work. So just for you, so we can have lunch together on Monday, I am going to try my best to have this video posted for you for tomorrow. So if I made it, enjoy lunch, and I'm so glad you're loving the videos. Y'all's comments, everybody, the support I've been getting has been incredible, and I'm just over here smiling like crazy every time I see them. And once I settle into a routine, or things calm back down and I'm no longer trying to set everything up, I will definitely be getting in and responding to everybody, because it's just thank you. I can't tell y'all how much it really means to me. Yeah, so I can't guarantee that my updates will keep coming quick because, like I said, I need to regroup. I gotta pay my taxes. Okay. I'll be doing that tomorrow. All right. I hope this cleared up some stuff. It did for me. I hope it did for y'all. And Readathon, not only me, but Lucinda, again, yay, Nick, for resisting it. And Somber Honey, I love that you made one for your reading journal. So maybe in August, I'll convince more of y'all to try this. But, I would wait and see how this train wreck goes. I don't know. All right. Y'all have a great one, and I will see you relatively soon. Bye now.